Hey everyone, this is Neil at the Ski Monster going through how to adjust your snowboard bindings properly to fit your boots well. It's possible that out of the box, they're not going to fit your boot perfect. It's really important that while you're on the hill, the boot and binding are interacting well with one another, and there's a couple easy adjustments to make sure that's happening. All right, we just took this binding out of a box, mounted it up on the board. It hasn't been adjusted at all, so let's drop the boot in there and see where things land. Sometimes you'll find that a binding is already set up in a couple spots to fit the boot well, but that's not always the case. We'll start by taking a look at the straps. I can see already, ratcheting this down, that this is going to be a little bit too short. It looks like the same is the case here on the ankle strap. We can tell that both of these straps are a little bit too short because we're slightly off center on the toe, and on the ankle, I can't even get a tooth to click. On this binding, the adjustment for the length of the straps is really easy. We've got a screw on both the ankle and the toe that's going to pop open. You don't even need a screwdriver. It's completely toolless. And we can loosen this right up and pull that screw out completely. Once that's out, we'll slide this just to lengthen it a touch. I'm going to move one place to start, and we'll see how that looks. If we need to go further, we can. Snap that back down. And that looks perfect. We're nice and centered on the toe of the boot. That's going to hold that in there nicely. We'll do the same thing on the ankle, making this a little bit longer. This one wasn't reaching at all, so I'm going to move it 2 holes rather than just 1. See how we do there. And again, if we need to adjust this again, it's really easy to do so. We'll ratchet that down. And that looks perfect. Again, we're nice and centered on the ankle of the boot. The boot's wrapped well all the way around, so those are going to be right where we need them. All right, so on the back of this binding, we've got a forward lean adjuster. You'll find this on pretty much every binding. Sometimes it works a little different, but in this case, we've got a twist knob here. That's going to adjust how this high back is angled upright on the binding. In some cases, a rider who likes making more aggressive carves might want a little bit more forward lean to put their knees out over the toe side edge of their board a little bit more. Once we crank this up, it's going to essentially push the high back forward like that. Most riders who are doing a little bit of everything, maybe they're riding in the park, groomers, trees, wherever it may be, are going to feel most comfortable keeping this in the most upright, neutral position, which is typically how it'll come out of the box. So it's possible you don't even need to adjust it. When it comes to adjusting the high back position on your binding, you generally have a couple screws located on the bottom chassis of the binding. This is a minor adjustment that will just allow your boot to move with the binding as designed. The goal here is to take the high back and basically position it so that it's lined up with the heel side edge of your board. We're going to use a small Phillips head screwdriver just to loosen these lower screws. Enough so that we can twist the high back slightly into the proper position. Once those are loose, I can just turn this and line it up so that it's lined up with that heel side edge as best as possible. And then I'll tighten these screws back down. Make sure those are secure, and then we'll be in a good spot. Depending on the brand of binding that you have, you should have pretty much all the same adjustments, but the way they work might be a little bit different. As far as straps go, you're probably going to have one of 3 options, being either a toolless screw like we just demonstrated, snaps that you'll pop in and out into whichever position you desire, or a clasp of some kind. When it comes to your forward lean adjustment on the back, you might have a latch like this that you'll just open up and slide up and down. The high back position screws will be pretty much the same across the board. All right, that's how you adjust your bindings to fit your boots properly. If any other questions come up, you can always reach out to us via email, text, live chat, or make an appointment to see us here in Boston.